Good morning, afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. We've got another round of class tuning adjustments that are coming through for a lot of classes, some buffs and some nerfs around the board. We're getting really close to the launch and release, and I feel like there's a couple of high priority classes that everybody's got their eyes glued to, wondering like, is this class going to get knocked off its pedestal? One of those classes in particular has been Havoc Demon Hunter. So in this specific round of changes, Havoc Demon Hunter has been looked into, as I said, along with other classes. If you want to make sure that you're staying up to date with these types of class changes that are coming through, so you're always knowing what's going on in the meta, what is it shifting, what's going on with your class, then I do suggest hitting the subscribe button. Your support is also greatly appreciated in my long-term goal of getting to 100,000 subscribers. So I have something to hang up on the wall, so it's not just a blank slate of emptiness. So fill my heart and fill my wall. Please hit the subscribe button and you will get important, vital information related to World of Warcraft on top of that. So this is a message from Blizzard. We are working on a slate of tuning adjustments for several classes that will be applied to the live game with scheduled weekly maintenance on November 29th. Please note this weekly maintenance period is a day after Dragonflight content becomes available. And the first class that's kind of like up for discussion is immediately up front is Havoc Demon Hunter. So what is going on? Burning Wound, Immolation, Aura damage bonus has been reduced to 40% down from 50. Know your enemy talent critical damage bonus reduced to 40 to 80% of your critical strike chance, down from 50 to 100%. And any means necessary talent damage bonus for affected skills reduced to 80% of your mastery. Demonic present bonus was 100%. So a pretty substantial hack and slash on a significant amount of talents. Now, in PvP specifically, I'm not sure how much of an implication this is really going to have. Right now, the pre-patch soul rending is a really big deal. I think it does carry forward a bit into the actual expansion of Dragonflight, but things like Elysian Decree, things like the Hunt, like those massively upfront, front-loaded burst abilities, don't appear like they'll be targeted. They might be targeted a bit through this talent, assuming that Demon Hunters are taking this in PvP. This seems to be much more oriented around their AoE potential, I would assume, in Mythic Plus, and not so much PvP, although it does have some implications on it. Curious to see how much of an impact it has. Survivability is then another thing that also draws into question. Are we going to see any more targeted nerfs towards their leech, their self-sustainability, that type of deal? Because Demon Hunters are probably the most difficult class. I want to say the most difficult class to kill at the moment in PvP specifically. So we're not seeing that. This could have implications. Again, Demon Hunter mains, let us know in the comments down below, because there's a lot of Demon Hunter specific jargon here that maybe I'm missing the hidden message for this on these talents specifically in PvP. But the way that I'm assessing it at the moment is that this is a much more impactful change towards your meta balance and AoE damage situations, and likely more so in kind of Mythic Plus. Now we've got Paladin of Dusk and Dawn has been adjusted. Blessing of Dawn now increases damage and healing by 5% down from 6, but the duration has increased to 20 seconds. So trying to get Blessing of Dusk and Dawn to be a bit more of a competitive option, likely. I'm not sure how much of an increase this is relative to what it was, but the bonus is lower, but it lasts longer. And then Blessing of Dusk is also going to be increased to 20 seconds. So trying to create more talent competitiveness here for Paladin. Seal of Order now increases the healing and damage of your holy power spending abilities by 8%, down from 10% during Blessing of the Dawn. So a lot of shifting around here of Dusk and Dawn, one of the capstone talents in the Paladin talent trees. For Protection Paladin, you're going to see Word of Glory healing increased by 40% and Light of the Titans healing increased by 40%. Oh no. It's a good thing in ranked PvP solo queue, prop paladins get their own bracket and they fight against each other, because when I see a change like that, I'm going Monka right now at how much healing prop paladins are going to likely be doing. But this might have implications in the 3v3 ladder, where you can only compete for things like the gladiator mount and title. So keep an eye on this, because there was also recent changes towards Guardian Druid that I'm really could be concerning for PvP specifically. For Discipline Priest, we've got the duration of Harsh Discipline buff effect being increased to 30 seconds from 15. I'm going to be straight up with you. I'm uncertain as to what this is for Harsh Discipline, so if you can let us know in the comments down below. I'm assuming that this is a buff, but I'm not sure of how much significance. For Outlaw Rogue, Dispatch damage has been nerfed by 5%. You're not too happy about that. Again, this is likely targeted towards Mythic Plus, maybe Raid tuning. Dreadblade's talent duration has also been reduced to 8 seconds from 10, and the energy cost has been reduced along with it from 50 to 40. So a little bit less uptime of it, but it's also going to cost a little bit less. For Arms Warrior, what are you getting here? Because Arms Warrior has been needing some serious love. So let's see what you're getting. Hopefully it's something good. Seasoned Soldier now also grants 10% reduced damage to area of effect damage. Uncertain what this is specifically, if this is a talent that you're actually able to access. There's a lot of spells, surprisingly, that are AoE in PvP situations. So this may have some pretty big benefits, but only in those situations. Battle Lord now also increases the damage of your overpower by 25% at all times. That sounds pretty nice. Martial Prowess increases the damage of your Mortal Strike by 30%, up from 25 per stack. That's pretty nice. Exhilarating Blows, chance to reset Mortal Strike or Cleave, has been increased by 5% to 20%. Fatal Mark damage has also been increased by 20%. Fueled by Violence now heals for 65% of the damage dealt by deep wounds, up from 50%. So some sustainability here. This is kind of what Arms Warrior defensively was lacking. So this is great. Mortal Strike damage just buffed 3.5%. Now we've got some PvP specific changes on this round of updates. We got another round as well to take a quick little glance at to make sure we're covering everything, but they're just rewinding a bunch of PvP specific changes. So Recuperator is now no longer reduced by 50% in PvP combat. So rogue specs, I'd say Assassination is probably the best performing in PvP at the moment offensively. This is opening up a lot of potential healing because this is based off your percent health. They increased HP pools by a lot. So Recuperator could be a lot more desirable considering it's not going to be nerfed in half. This is a really big change. Echoing Reprimand is also not going to be reduced by 50% in PvP combat. This is a lot of burst damage for Subtlety, likely for Outlaw Rogue. So really big deal here. And Reverberation damage is no longer nerfed by 33% in PvP combat. Killing Spree also no longer reduced by 20% in PvP combat. I feel like that change had to come in like Warlords of Draenor when Killing Spree wasn't CCable or something, because Killing Spree has not existed for a really long time. Possible shifts and builds here for Rogue. So a lot of exciting news for Rogue. And Pistol Shot is also getting a 16% buff effectively in PvP combat. And Subtlety, Mastery, Executioner Effectiveness is no longer reduced by 20% in PvP combat. So if you're a Rogue player, you're pretty stoked about this because Rogues going into PvP were not looking too stellar. They targeted a lot of things that have historically been making Rogues like bordering overpowered. So this is a really big deal for Rogue specifically. Demon Hunter seems like an AoE situation. I'm not sure if it's any more than a slap on the wrist in PvP. Honestly, the Arms Warrior talents seem really confusing as to what sort of impact this is going to have on you compared to like a 3% Mortal Strike buff compared to a 16% Pistol Shot damage buff. So kind of some shifting there, but they're definitely targeting the classes that need lifting up and then classes that need to maybe be toned down. So maybe we see a whole new slew of PvP specific changes aside of this. Maybe this means we're transitioning completely away from them. Still a little bit left up in the air and uncertain. The only other change that I noticed that was really of like significance was Balance Druid. Basically now Wild Mushroom damage is not going to be delayed, and Lunar Eclipse will increase the damage of Wild Mushroom, and Balance of All Things will provide crit bonus to Wild Mushroom. So it's like a little bit of a buff with all of these bug fixes. Discipline Priest is also going to see Harsh Discipline. Okay, so this is the one that makes your penance super fast. Now we know what Harsh Discipline is, because when I read this, I don't understand what it is. It's going to be every 8 to 4 casts down from 10 to 5. So a little bit of a, able to get up to max stacks. Those were kind of the biggest deals ones on this previous one that I had missed. So Balance and Discipline getting some love. But the big deal from this one was Rogues. Like Rogues stonks might be going up a little bit after this update. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this video. I do hope that you've enjoyed it, got something out of it, and now be able to have a little bit better foresight into the future of Dragonflight. Maybe if you're thinking about, I don't want to check out a Rogue, everybody's telling me that it's not looking too good. It might be looking a lot better after this round of changes. And if you want to follow me live on my stream, I have it linked in the description down below, and maybe we can see some of these implications of these changes in real time as a result. Other than that, thank you once again, and I will catch you in the next video.